All right, guys, I got the recording started, so we're gonna start this quick training call. Guys, I promise you, I will not keep you on the phone for long today. The reason for I don't always do training calls on Fridays, but I thought it was important to have one. I've had some talks with a couple of agents earlier this week, and I've noticed that there were a few agents that were having some problems with not necessarily getting their business placed. It was getting issued, but when it came around for the insurance company to draft the first payment, the first premium, that the funds were coming up NSF or not available. Okay, and there's really some things that you can do to prevent that. And I'm telling you, I write a lot of business, and very, very rarely do I ever have a case that comes up returned. I think last month in June, I don't have my count in front of me, but I think I wrote somewhere around 27 applications. I had one premium, one incident where a premium was returned. It's probably my fault. It was just kind of some miscommunication with the client. So what I'm going to be covering with you today is placement, persistency, and what you can do to ensure that your clients are going to have the money there. The one thing I think is really, really important is that when we're going in to see these people, these clients, slow down, take this very, very seriously. Okay, this is something that possibly could impact will impact their family and could change somebody's life. So the one thing we don't want to do is that we don't want to rush through our presentation. We want to make sure that we're taking our time, that we're spending the proper time with these clients, and we're not just going in there and doing a wham bam, thank you ma'am, and you're trying to see how fast you can get out of the client's home. That's not what this is about. Okay, my whole sales process is all about adding value to the client's lives. That's why in the beginning, that's why I spend probably 10-15 minutes during the warm-up, just bonding rapport and getting to know these people and getting them to trust me, because then it gives me permission. I'm able to ask my questions. It's easier for me to ask them questions about affordability and what type of income do they have coming in? Are they on Social Security? Do they have a pension? And I can become very aware of budget needs. And that's the one thing we'll kind of start with now is, as an agent, it's important for us to be aware of our surroundings. Okay, so if you're going into a home, it's one of those houses where you don't even want to sit on a chair because you're afraid you might stick to it, or you don't want to sit on a couch because it's full of dog hair. Trust me, I know. I go into the same homes you're talking about. So in situations like this, we have to be very, very aware of our surroundings and our clients and make sure. I know this is common sense, but the first thing that we need to do as an agent is that we have to make sure that what we're going to show these people, it's going to fit into their budget. Okay, so just be smart about that and be able to really customize a program to something that's going to fit their needs financially. Okay, and the one big thing is I urge everybody is that if you can follow my sales system and my in-home presentation, there's certain things in there that are designed to ensure that we're finding a premium that's fitting our clients' needs. Okay, so the whole thought process, I put a lot of effort, and there's a lot of psychology that's in that in-home presentation. So that's why it's very important to try to follow it as much as possible. I want you to inject your own personality, but you really need to follow those steps. So number one, I wrote down, there's 8 notes that I wrote down. If you want to grab a pen and paper or grab a napkin, grab something to write on. I'm going to give you 8 tips on how to ensure that your clients will have the money in their account when it comes to draft their first premium. And let me just tell you something. As long as you can get the first premium drafted and you get 2, 3 premiums under your belt, at that point, guys, you're home free. I mean, very rarely do you have any chargebacks if they make their first 3 payments consecutively. So number one, probably the most common sense one, is just make sure that the premiums that you are showing them, make sure they're affordable and you are aware of your surroundings. The other thing that we can do is that we can coordinate the premiums with when they get paid, when they get their Social Security check. Okay, so if they get their Social Security on the 3rd, don't set it up on the 1st. Set it up on the 3rd. Okay, and you want to set it up as close to that date as possible. So if they get paid on the 3rd, don't set it up for the 4th or the 5th. You want to make sure you get your money first. So make sure we coordinate it with when they get paid. And a simple way to find this is just ask them. So, when do you get paid? When do you get your Social Security check? The third thing that we can do is if your clients if this is going to be taken out of their checking account, okay? Even though we don't need a physical check, it's not a bad idea, and it's a very good commitment if you can actually get your clients to go ahead and write you a check. So if that premium's $57 a month, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I need you to write me out a check, to Transamerica for your first premium of $57. You want that to come out on the 1st. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and post date it till the 1st, and then have them write that in their check register so they know the money's coming out. And then you can simply use that check that they wrote out. You can use that as your voided check. Okay, it's not that we're going to be submitting the check, but you just have that commitment of them actually writing a check. So if you get into a situation where you are getting a lot of clients that are having first payment defaults or non-sufficient funds, that's something you might want to consider to do. It's just another way to ensure that that they know the premiums are going to be coming out on a certain date. The fourth thing is that in the in-home presentation, before I show clients premiums, I always do the trial close. I do the trial close of I'll say, Bob and Mary, I'm going to be showing you what most people are doing in your situation. I'm going to show you what the what the programs are going to cost. But before I show you what the programs cost, Bob and Mary, I want you to promise me, if what I'm showing you does not fit into your budget, that you'll let me know, because I can make adjustments. Bob and Mary, I've been doing this a long time, and one thing I know is that the only policy that counts is a policy that's in place when you die. That's why it's important for us to find something affordable. No one in your family is going to care about how much insurance you used to have. Okay? So will you make that promise? So get your clients to promise you that in this way they're going to feel more comfortable. So, if you're showing them a premium of $87 and you're not giving them a lot of options, they may say, well, I guess I'll do the 87. Maybe $87 doesn't fit in their month. Maybe they should be at 57 or 47, at 37. So that's another thing that you can do. That's the fourth thing that you can do to make sure that we're getting premiums that fit into their budget. The other thing that's important is that on the leave behind forms, and if you watch my my in-home presentation video, there's two things that I do. One is I do a client survey where I go over some questions with them, and I believe I have it here somewhere. Shoot, I just have it. Here it is. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fourth question on the client survey, and it simply asks, I feel the life insurance program I'm applying for fits my needs and budget. Disagree, somewhat agree, strongly agree. So here's another opportunity for you to find out if there's any pushback. So if you read that and they say, well, I somewhat agree with that, well, Mr. and Mrs. Client, it's important. We have to make sure that we find something that fits your budget. This program's $87 a month. would you feel more comfortable with something, let's say around $60 or $70 a month? Okay, so just make sure that you're not taking any food off the table. So if you're not doing the client survey, I urge you, do the client survey. It's also an awesome way to get referrals. If you don't know where to get it, I can email it to you, or you can also get it off of my website, my training website, which is www.agenttrainingus.com. Okay? The other thing that I've got on my list here, which is the sixth way to make sure that we've got this coordinated properly, is the policy request receipt. So in the in-home presentation, when I'm doing that mock presentation, one of the things that I do is I fill out the policy request. And where it says the plan information, it's important to go over that. And I do it with every client. I say, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, your policy, your face amount is $10,000. The premiums are $87 a month, and I've got that started on July the 28th. That's when they're going to deduct the first premium from your checking account. Is there any reason why you wouldn't have the money in your account at that time? No, Joe, that's fine. Great. So that's another way to check. The seventh way that I check to make sure that the premiums fit is I do a pushback. So, and I'm pretty sure I did this in the in-home presentation. I pretty much do it on every policy. The pushback is that before I leave the house, and I take that application and I've got it in my hand, and I look my clients in the eye and I say, Bob and Mary, before I submit this application to Transamerica, I need you to look me in the eye and tell me that these premiums are affordable and this is not going to take any food off your table. Okay, this is where I'm looking for any kind of hesitation. I want them to say, Joe, don't worry about it. We got this. It's not going to be a problem. Okay, what I'm looking for is for the client that says, well, I'll give it a try, or yeah, I think that will work. Well, that doesn't work for me, guys. Okay, right there, I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to say, Bob and Mary, let's just call a timeout here just for a second. I don't feel comfortable submitting the application unless I know for sure that this premium is going to fit into your budget. Okay, because this is a commitment to your family that when you die, there's going to be funds available to pay for your funeral. So as your agent, this is something I feel strongly about, I feel responsible about. So I need to know for sure this works. If it doesn't, let me know now. Let's just make an adjustment. Would you feel more comfortable at $50 a month? And I want them to come back and say, no, Joe, no, it fits in my budget fine. Okay? So I'm giving, I guess the point is, guys, I'm giving my clients multiple opportunities to kind of back out of the deal, or not back out, but just say, no, you know what, Joe, maybe this is a little expensive. Maybe I really want the $10,000, but maybe I should only do $7,000. Because we can always add more later. Okay? And guys, the last and final thing, the eighth thing that I do is the callback. Okay? If you look at the video trainings on the website, one of the video trainings is, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's where I go over like my log and my accounting. I've got it right here. I'm going to show it. You guys can't see this, but you will when I post it on the website. On my my activity, it's called the Agent Weekly Production Report, and this is a week I've got. This is back in May. For this week I had 7 applications, and you can see I marked it off where I got paid. Over here on the far right hand side, it says call. Okay, and I put a little check mark on there that I called the client. Guys, I call every single client. Every time I sell a policy, when that policy goes issue paid and it's approved, I call my client and let them know that their policy was approved. I remind them of what the premiums are and what day they're going to be drafted. If I can't reach my client, I leave a detailed voice message letting them know, who this is. It's about their policy. If there's any problems, call me. Okay, it's much better to, get something issued, because if there is a problem, we can call Transamerica and have the policy. We're allowed to do this one time where we can have it redated, okay, and we can adjust the premium date. So it's much easier to do that while it's before the first premium is drafted than if you wait until it goes NSF. Now you got to collect a back premium. It makes it much more difficult than if you just would have done it the right way the first time. So guys, that's really it. I just wanted to bring this out to you, bring these 8 points to you. It's something that I do. I learned the hard way. I didn't always do this. This is something I've developed over the last 5 years. And that's why I have a very high placement and persistency. Placement, that just means that when I write a policy, that most of my policies actually get issued and they get approved. In placement means that they stay on the books. So guys, thank you very much for plugging into the call. We've gone 20 minutes. Before I let you go, are there any questions about anything? No? All right. All right, guys, you guys have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And again, if you need me, just give me a call. I'll be there to answer any calls that you have. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.